Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. This is round number 2 of the Heritage Special. I'm doing this a little bit differently because I'm filming this right from my kitchen table. There's no mixing board. I am patched into a mic. However, my first attempt didn't come out very well. It's finally here. The Tim Hortons Heritage Classic in Edmonton. This is the second one ever. It's quite the event going on in Edmonton, and there's some good news. It sounds like Mr. Connor McDavid is, in fact, going to be suiting up in the game today. We got kind of wind from it yesterday during an interview. So, yeah, that's some good news. I just hope that it's legitimately healed and that he's not pushing through it so he can just play in this game, because it's a big deal to play in this game. But he stated he always wants to be playing, that it doesn't matter if it's an indoor or an outdoor game, he always tries to push himself to play. So we will see. Actually, I'll give you a little bit of a snippet of what he had to say in the media yesterday. I'll just pop that on real quick here and give you a little bit of it here. All right.
How is your injury feeling, and do you think that you'll play tomorrow?
Yeah, it's feeling good. Making a lot of progress. Felt really good today in practice. A lot of good signs.
You've had, from very serious injuries to not so serious injuries in your career. Maybe just let us in on what you can on this, and did it heal up faster than you thought it might?
Yeah, lots of, our great training staff here is amazing here in Edmonton. TD and Hap and Doc Naidu and the whole crew. So we're very lucky here in Edmonton to have such a great staff, and we've been working hard at it all week, and I feel like it's in a really good place.
Left side, second row.
Hey, Connor, is it because it was the Heritage Classic that it make a bit more urgency for you to come back, or would you have maybe come back at the same time frame had it been a regular season game?
I hate missing games, period. Whether or not this game was played indoors or outdoors, it would be something I was pushing for. So, I hate missing games, and sitting out too is not something that's fun. I think as athletes, your availability to the team and being able to play day in and day out is something that, is very important. It's your job. It's something that I take very seriously. So, being available is important to me.
Connor, do you get any different perspective at all when you watch from a different?
So if you ask me, that sounds very, 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 very encouraging. I do think he's going to play, guys. I really do. And if that is the case, this is your expected lines here. You got Draisaitl, McDavid, and Fogle on line 1. You're going to have Kane with Nuge and Zach Hyman on number 2. Holloway with McLeod and Brown on number 3. Ernie with Janmark and Ryan on number 4. Nurse is going to be paired up with CC. Ekholm with Broberg. Kulik with Bouchard. And Skinner looks like he's going to be getting the start, or at least according to the Edmonton Oilers lines that they have issued. I imagine Skinner's going to play at some point in time during this game, because he does have that those pads that are supposed to be Grant Fuhr nostalgic kind of pads. So we'll see what happens. I think this here is going to be an absolutely huge, huge pivotal game for the Edmonton Oilers. They need this one, because right now you got a record of what's their record? 1-5-1, I believe. Yeah, 1-5-1. They are 14 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights for first place. That's a huge, huge difference. Now, granted, Vegas came out of the gates flying, winning the first 7 in a row, losing to Chicago, and then winning again. So they have a record of 8-1, which is huge. But the thing is, the Edmonton Oilers with a 1-5-1 record, if they lose today, then they'll be at 1-6-1. So then at that point in time, they're going to need 5 games just to get back to 500, which It's easy to get those 5 games, but you also have to count on the other teams losing for it to make a difference. Because if you win 5 games, it's nothing if the other teams are still winning too. So you have to rely on that. Plus 500 doesn't get you into the playoffs. You need about 700, 750 record to get into the playoffs. It's going to be tough for the Oilers, but I think they can do it. I think this is, as they call the TSN turning point, this is going to be a huge, huge, huge game for them. They definitely need this one for them to turn it around. If you are going to the game, guys, I dress a little bit warm. I went in 2003 to the game, so 20 years ago, and this is the 20th anniversary. The circumstances were a little bit different. It was a little bit later in the year. It was, I believe, November 22nd was the game. And, or what day was it? I can't remember the exact day, but regardless, it was minus 22 that day. I remember wearing jeans. I remember wearing sweatpants, like all sorts of different underwear. I dressed extremely warm for this game. 2 jackets, 2 hoodies, like extremely warm. I could barely walk up the stairs at the Commonwealth Stadium there, but it was still cold even in that. But then again, I was out there for about 8 hours because they did an alumni game that featured Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, who was an active player of the New York Rangers at the time. He was still able to come and play the alumni game for the Oilers. Yeah, it's definitely a experience that you guys will not regret. I look back to when I went, and I know I froze, but I'll never forget that experience. It was amazing. And not to mention, it was the first ever NHL game. I know we have all these Heritage Classics now and all these Winter Classics in the books and in history now. But back in 2003, that was the first ever regular season NHL game held outside. I mean, they've done games in Nevada and Vegas, and they were preseason games, but this was one that actually counted for 2 points. And it was an experience. It was definitely an experience. So I urge you guys, if you are going to the game, dress warm and enjoy yourselves. I wish I was there in Edmonton to be at this game. I'm not. I wish I at least had my jersey that I ordered. It's still on its way here, so I won't have that for today. I was hoping to wear that for this episode, but nope, not going to be. Some of the notes of the numbers that the Oilers are dealing with right now. Like I said, this is a very different episode. I'm not going to do so much graphics on this. I just wanted to have a discussion with you guys if you guys are out there and want to have comments for me. But other than that, I'm just going to take out some of the... Hang on 1 second. Where did that go now? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to break down some of the numbers that really stand out that were not have very drastically changed as of this year. So their goals, they're 26th in the league right now for their goals, averaging 2.43 goals per game. Their shots on goal, averaging 31. That's 17th in the league. The power play is tied for 7th when they were crushing it last year. The shooting percentage is 26th in the league. So a lot of things that... Oh, actually, that's Calgary stats. Sorry, I'm reading off Calgary's. But a lot of numbers. That's Calgary stats. Now I'm gonna try to read out. Oh boy. Okay, never mind. Never mind those stats. But the one number that really counts. Okay. No, I had it right. I did have it right. Yes, I did have it right. My apologies. Reading this app wrong. So I did have it right. Yeah, 26th in the league for shooting percentage at 7.8. Face-off percentage at 50.7%. Goals allowed. They're 32nd in the league for goals allowed. That's a stat that needs to change at 4.29. Uh, and you look at Calgary. Calgary's at 25th at 3.5. So this is a tale of two teams that are really, really struggling, and something's got to give tonight. One of these teams is going to come out a massive benefactor. The other team, this could very well be their playoff dreams. It's huge. It's a huge, huge game. I never thought when this game came around that it'd be this pivotal. So we will see, but I do think the Oilers are going to come out flying today. I don't think they want to let down their crowd here. That being said, Calgary's going to be hungry as well. It's going to be a good time. Whatever you say. There is some bad news or upsetting news coming out of the hockey world, as there was a on-ice incident in, I believe it was an English team. I don't know the exact details of it, but we discussed it on NHL Aftermath this morning with Sammy. He's actually the one that brought it to light for me early this morning, just before we came on. But apparently there was, and I'm going to give you a trigger warning before I talk about it, because the content I'm going to talk about is a little bit graphic. Or it'll be verbally graphic anyway. There was a player on one of these English teams that got checked into the boards. I guess he went down to the ice, and when he went down to the ice, a skate inadvertently went over his throat and caught him. He was treated with first aid on the ice at the time that it happened, was in surgery, and they pronounced him deceased at about 5 o'clock in the morning, their time. Very sad news. And he is I guess a Pittsburgh. Sammy was saying he's a Pittsburgh Penguins draft pick. Yeah, it's you never want to see that happen. The NHL can't afford an incident like that to happen, so I can definitely see them getting to work on Monday, starting to prepare a mandate that is going to grandfather some form of protection for the throat area, for the neck area. Obviously, something like that, just like the visors, they had to grandfather it in. Same with helmets, had to kind of grandfather it out. And yeah, it's when you hear about a story like that, it's very tragic. So heartfelt condolences to him. But let's continue with our bright note. The celebration that is going on in Edmonton, the Heritage Classic, the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, the Battle of Alberta is outdoors. This is something that it should have been the first time around. Instead, it was Edmonton versus Montreal, and Montreal ended up winning that game. However, Edmonton did win the second Heritage Classic game that was held in Winnipeg. And this is now Edmonton's third outdoor NHL game. So, right on. Two very, very, three very different circumstances. One being in Winnipeg, two here in Edmonton. However, one of them was 20 years ago. So, yeah. So, if you guys are going, have fun. Dress warm. It won't be as cold as the game I went to back in 2003. That's one thing you guys are lucky about. Because I think I mentioned it on this channel or on NHL Aftermath at some point in time. But I'm not even joking. I bought a beer during the first intermission, and I'm not even kidding when I say this. It turned into a Slurpee in about 10 to 15 minutes. It was already starting to freeze up and turn into ice. That's how cold it was. Anyway, guys, I think that's about all I'm going to have for you today. This is kind of a different episode because I had to do a double shoot. So I didn't really get into the numbers of the previous game. The Oilers did lose to the Rangers. They were unable to even get a goal on the Rangers. Rangers are looking really good. 3-0. So yeah, so it's a huge game today for the Oilers. They have to pull out something out of their pocket and get something going for them. All right, guys. If you are going to the game, stay safe. Be safe. Don't be too silly with the funness. Enjoy it, embrace it, and remember it. That's all I can say. Because when I went back again, I keep bringing back 2003, and I apologize for that. But it was one of the fondest memories I can actually recall 20 years later. So let's go, Oilers. Let's put 2 points into the bank and start our winning ways tonight or this afternoon. Let's do it. Let's go. Have a good time, guys. Whoever's going to that game, enjoy yourself. Stay warm. Whoever isn't and just watching on TV and doing up the snacks like I am, enjoy. Have a good one. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay hydrated. I will talk to you on Wednesday. Have a good evening.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been